Welcome back. Well, a judgment in the bail application of Matume Dikgale, accused of attempting to murder his estranged wife, is currently happening. He was erroneously released on bail hours after assaulting his wife, despite her having a protection order in place. Let's get the very latest now. Chriselda Lewis joins us now live. Chriselda, what are you listening to?
Well, just a few moments ago, there were scenes of jubilation here at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court as supporters, people who have come to support the family of Matume Dikgale, had gathered in a packed courtroom as the presiding magistrate had denied bail to her estranged husband, Jonas Dikgale, who's of course also referred to as Matume. While the court believes that granting bail to Matume Dikgale would not have been in the interest of justice and that she would not have been safe, the court basing that on previous instances of violence that had taken place. The court believed it would not be in the interest of justice to have him released on bail, also based on the way he had entered the home of his estranged wife on the day of the incident that led her to being admitted at the intensive care unit in hospital, where SABC News did manage to speak to her just about last week, and her call had been to this court not to allow her estranged husband to be granted bail, and certainly today she gets her wish. You can see here behind me many of the support members of the ANC Women's League and just general members of the community, and some of the family members have gathered here behind me just a few moments ago in court when that judgment was being handed down. There were scenes of jubilation, this community saying that this time they believe that the justice system has worked for them. You'd recall, of course, that there had been an incident where Matume Dikgale had been erroneously granted bail just hours after he was caught strangling his wife, and the National Prosecuting Authority as well as police of course re-looked at the case and found that he should not have been granted bail in the first place. A reapplication in this instance, and now this court has found that he should not be granted bail. And I think much jubilation for the family who we've been speaking to throughout this particular instance. I'm joined now by Matume Dikgale's sister, Monica Sitai. Sis Monica, thank you very much for your time. Let me get some reaction from you on what has just been handed down in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court.
We are very relieved at the moment. The safety of my sister is quite very important. We were worried what's going to happen after all this. Now, after this, we relieved. All we want is justice for my sister. We want to see him in jail. We want to see him in jail, and the safety of my sister is important, as I said. Yeah.
How is she doing? The last time SABC News spoke to her, she was well on her way to recovery. But how is she now?
You know, she's scared. She's very scared. She was worried what's going to happen, and she was saying to us that, you know, based on the incident that has happened before, she was worried of what would be inspired in the case today, what will be the outcome. The fact that there was no bail, probably she will be relieved as well. But we're waiting for the trial and to see all we want is the justice for her.
All right, the family calling for justice. I must also indicate that you can see here behind me some of the T-shirts that are being worn. Football legends say no to bail, and of course you would recall as well, former soccer legends such as Edward Mutale are also here today to support this particular family. Let me try and see if I can locate the National Prosecuting Authority. We were scheduled to speak to them a few moments ago. Let me speak to the National Prosecuting Authority. Let me bring them in very quickly here with me just before we wrap up. Let me bring in Pindi Mjonondwanda from the National Prosecuting Authority. Sis Pindi, let's get your reaction first of all to the court's judgment this morning.
Well, we are satisfied with the court's ruling as the NPA, as we have argued and opposed his bail application, citing reasons that the accuser has a propensity to violence. He has acted in a violent manner previously against the complainant, and not only the complainant for that against members of the public. So we have cited reasons that he not be admitted into bail, as he is a danger to society, especially a danger to the complainant. And we are therefore satisfied that the court has ruled in our favor. The pandemic reality of gender-based violence calls for our courts to give such rulings where enough evidence is provided before them. The accused person before court violated and failed to comply with the provisions of a protection order, and therefore there was no reason for this court to admit him into bail.
There had been some criticism in the beginning, regarding why he initially had been granted bail. Certainly that points to some of the cracks within the justice system, where women who have protection orders against their alleged perpetrators are granted bail in these very courts.
Well, yes, there is a need for improvement in the manner in which we do our work, and luckily enough, in this case, we were able to self-correct timeously as the NPA and ensure that his bail is revoked, and he brings a formal bail application since he's charged with offences that falls within the ambit of Schedule 5. So we are satisfied that he failed to adduce evidence that satisfies this court on a balance of probabilities that in the interest of justice permits his release on bail.
Pini Mjolondwane from the National Prosecuting Authority there. Her remarks, of course, after Matume Dikgale was denied bail here at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. A victory for now for this family who've been calling for the estranged husband of their daughter. The family standing here behind me, not to be granted bail, saying that he, of course, this court also finding that he would be a risk to her at this stage. And the court basically saying that a message needs to be sent, I guess, to would-be perpetrators, that the courts would be able to deal with cases such as this. But clearly for the Dikgale family right now, and for community members and some groups against gender-based violence who are gathered here behind me, a victory for them today, but certainly a long road still needs to be travelled. But ultimately what they say is they want to see Matume Dikgale in jail for the attempted murder of Nthabiseng Dikgale. Back to you in studio.
Woo!